I stumbled across the home video from my very first vacation to Walt Disney World and Universal, and it's nearly 30 years old. And I thought I'd bring you with me on the Wayback Machine so you could actually see what it was like to visit there at that time. We're gonna see a bunch of old attractions that aren't there anymore, old parades, blurry video, and me with hair. What's to lose, other than the hair? But come along with me and witness when I actually fell in love with Disney. Let's have a look. Oh my god. That is 13-year-old Joe Finley, and that's actually his 7-year-old sister Dana, who's an editor now at CGM. You can see this is anybody's first chance actually using a camcorder back then, so we don't know much about exposure or anything like that, so look how far we've come. Now let's talk about the quality of this video for a second, because not only is the video almost 30 years old, it went from a camcorder tape to a VHS to a DVD, now digitized for this. This is actually my first time watching it in probably 15 years. I can't tell you why. We videotaped literally everything that we did, and we found our way to the hotel gym at this point. It's really nice to see my dad in these videos too. We have almost no home videos of us, and my dad passed away in 2011. My daughter was maybe about 6-7 months at the time, so they never got to get to know him, so this is something I can at least show them, you know, to be like, hey, this was your grandpa. To give you some context with the ages too. So like I said, I'm 13 when we went on this trip, and my sister was 7. Right now my daughter is 13 and my son is 8, so it's almost the same ages. So this is what really informed me to know you gotta kind of get out on those early flights so that you can have that first full day. Yeah, you might be a little bit tired, but it's so worth it. When I went on my honeymoon, we actually got there kind of in the evening, which was cool because you got to just do a quick little thing, then come back, have a sleep, and then start your time. But to be able to just kind of jump right into it and you just get that whole extra day, it's so worth it.
Staying on the airplane, a little bit scared. But it's gonna be fun, isn't it? You know.
Oh,
See,
I hope. She's so nervous to fly her first time. Oh yeah, here's something we get to do now on airplanes, right? I don't know, do they let kids do this still anywhere? I feel like it's very much a no-no. What did she get here? I don't remember. I think they gave her some stickers or something like that. I'm literally scouting the instrumentation. FBI, oh my god. Please don't flag me.
Yep, welcome to Florida, Dana.
We made it to Florida. We're in sunny Florida after being in rainy, dark Canada, and we've got the drapes closed. So this was the view from our hotel room. You can hear my sister in just a second.
A light, a beautiful bushes. Before we had the fun house, but this was filthy.
She decided to become a British presenter during most of this, and we did end up in a room that was dirty, and they ended up moving us to another room. We weren't staying on resort at the time. I don't remember the name of this hotel. I remember, though, that it was like right across from Universal Studios, and there was like a Ponderosa and stuff next to it at the time. Anyways, I'd be curious to know. Our first park was Universal Studios Orlando. To give you some idea as to what time we were living in, Islands of Adventure wouldn't open for another 3 years, Hogsmeade was 15 years away, and only one ride that existed in 1995 is still there today, and that's E.T. So we're starting at Universal. I didn't remember actually where we started, so that's interesting. I had so much Orlando stuff, and this isn't tourist stuff. I was a fan of the Orlando Magic, so I had a lot of that stuff going on. Our first stop was the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera. Oh god, the quality's so bad that I can't even really make out what that's supposed to be. Oh, this is the Jetsons area in the Flintstones, so we're just in a general Hanna-Barbera space. Next, we hit up an old classic, King Kong's own ride, Kongfrontation. Oh, I know, remember this. We're in line for King Kong. King Kong was like one of the great line queues back in the day, right? Because you felt like you were getting ready to get on the subway, you were lined up. Hey, that's me, a handsome boy. That's my daddy. This is excellent King Kong footage with the light blocking half of it in the first place. The sets, though, were really good. I enjoyed old Universal. The problem with Universal now is the same as the problem with Universal then, was the fact it just felt so concrete and boxy when you're walking around. Oh, here's something else we shouldn't have been doing, is videotaping while on the ride. Thankfully, I have proof that this wasn't me, so I can't be banned. It was still a fun ride. But great effects for the time. Oh, we didn't get it. There was a great moment that made us laugh so hard. At the end of that ride, it shows another news story that people made it to safety, and it shows the people on your car. And as it was going by, you watch my mom with the camcorder going by. It was so fantastic. You hear my sister go, now this is the nature of Florida. We were in a completely different biome from early winter Canada. My parents really loved anytime one of the bands was at these parks, we were all over it, and they would stop and videotape all of them. There's E.T. So in case you're somebody who wasn't really aware of the technology at the time, you can see in front, that's somebody else using a camcorder. That's the kind of crap you had to do. Now, you can get away with this and actually make decent videos with it. Oh, there's Big Brother having to watch his little sister. By this point, I already had a knee injury, and it was hard for me to climb around things. Now, this is probably the cringiest thing about our whole trip, is we ate at the Hard Rock Cafe. Dining maybe didn't feel the same way. I remember my mom talked about the dining everywhere. She's like, it was the same thing everywhere you go. It was just chicken fingers and burgers. Chicken fingers and burgers. When we went to Epcot, and I've told this story in other videos, but when we went to Epcot, we didn't even make it to World Showcase because she didn't know it was a thing. So we only visited the first chunk of the area. So we did like test track, and that was pretty much it, and we left. And she's like, that place was boring. And I remember after going the second time, I'm like, yeah, you missed everything that is Epcot, and you would have loved it had you seen it. After lunch, we entered the mind of one of the great horror directors with Hitchcock's 3D theater. I always liked this effect. This was a little Hitchcock thing, so it was just a set with just tiny screens not too far away from you. So if I recall correctly, I have some pretty good memory about this. I think I'd do the whole thing from scratch here. And it's got Jimmy Stewart in the whole thing. But it looks really, really good. It's like really old Jimmy Stewart telling this story too about his time on Rear Window. There's something about this that's just so special. The new stuff is cool, don't get me wrong, but just to have little things like this, and just the fact that it was Universal and it was about making movies, it just made sense, right? It's kind of what's missing at Hollywood studios right now too. There's Mel's Drive-In. That probably would have been a better place to eat than Hard Rock. My dad getting to look at all the classic cars. I think we're actually waiting for the night stunt spectacular for this time. A lot of stunt spectaculars back then.
Sergeant John J. Calhoun, Commander, Operation
John J. Calhoun.
Mercenaries.
Let me know down in the comments if you saw this show or anything like that, or any of the things that you see in this. Let me know. I'm very interested to, get other people's memories of this. I remember being here and I remember seeing all of it, but it's been so long that it's fuzzy. The Great Water Heist by the Ghirardelli store. My mom zoomed all the way in so she couldn't keep up with any action. Oh. We couldn't even see what that was. Oh, and we couldn't see that one either because of heads.
There's somebody up on the roof.
Just remember, this is a stunt show, YouTube. Nobody died.
Featuring the Universal Studios stunt team.
Oh, I remember this. Back when they had the Ghostbusters, it was fantastic. You can't see him very well, but he's a pretty decent Egon, all things considered.
Joe Finley.
This is one of the things I obviously got, and we started using it nonstop. I had that for years, actually. I think I had that right up to my wedding. Our second day in Orlando was my first experience with Disney parks as we set off for the Magic Kingdom. We're gonna see a lot of classics and a few things that are no longer in the park. Now we're at the Magic Kingdom. I can't make out a single word written down. I guess that's why we have to have memories, right? So you can see, obviously, this is when we were all prepped for Christmas. The Christmas stuff is always fantastic. It's the first time I took my daughter was around this time. It was like first week of November, I think. The only thing I don't like about those wreaths, it gives you a little bit of a blocked view of Cinderella's castle as you're walking down Main Street, which kind of sucks. I don't know if you can see really well, but the topiary, the Mickey topiary is waving. It's animatronic. Oh, Tomorrowland. And some guy waving high at our camera while he was in the middle of using his own. First, we trekked to Tomorrowland and captured video from a couple of attractions that didn't make it too far into the future. Oh, Robin Williams.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat?
The animatronics were still really good. I mean, they're outstanding now, but come on. A little memory gap that I have is I always thought that this was the beginning of Alien Encounter. I was like, oh yeah, Alien Encounter. Robin Williams used to do the beginning of that and they ended up changing it. But no, it was a whole different thing. So this one was called The Timekeeper. They were still doing this for the Canada Pavilion, a different, obviously not as a time traveling thing, but as just a Canadian thing, but to have the whole 360-degree theater here. Again, the irony that so much money went into this, and now you can buy like a $400 Insta360 and basically do the same thing. Oh yeah, they captured people in holograms. The winning part of any Florida attraction is anything that's indoors long enough to be nice and air conditioned and cool you down for a while. Now granted, it was November, but still. Wow, could you imagine the idea of a video phone back then? There we go, this is Alien Encounter.
Molecules through the air.
So this became Stitch's Great Escape for people who aren't as old as me. But Alien Encounter was like a legit horror. Thankfully, my sister was too short, so there was all the things. So if you did Stitch's Great Escape or this, you'll know that you'd hear sounds like going past you. You'd feel things like dripping on you and all kinds of like little 4D moments while you were in the dark. But because my sister was so short, all the speaker stuff, she couldn't hear any of that, and all the things that would have otherwise terrified her, she essentially missed. Meanwhile, my mom is panicking, grabbing onto her, going, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake, the entire time. She never told me it was fake. I was terrified. I remember when I went my honeymoon, so that's 2007 we went to Stitch's Great Escape, and I remember seeing Stitch in these things and stuff like that and going like, was it Stitch when we were there the first time? I don't think so. And the fact that it was funny, and like I was like, don't tell me we were terrified of this. But no, that wasn't the case. These shows were so up with people. I think it says a lot for the amount of work that's gone into like improving these shows and making them just a little bit more appealing overall. This is perfectly fine for the time, don't get me wrong, but you know, we've evolved. Our next stop after the show were a couple of the all-time classics. These were can't miss rides then, and they're still can't miss rides now. Oh. It's a small world. I never skip this. If anybody who truly loves Disney will never skip this, no matter where it puts you mentally. Oh, she made sure to get the sponsorship. And again, recording on the ride, don't do it. If they ask you not to do it, follow the rules. Be good people. She's hiding it right now, too. What a sneak. And don't get me wrong, my mom is a genuinely wonderful person, but she was like, I'm not missing a minute of this for anything. I want to be able to show everybody. It's just so crazy. And, you know, to us, we thought that would be the one and only time. And as a family, it was the one and only time. Waiting for the moment when she gets brave. There we go. Rides like this are still important at Disney, especially to show your kids and stuff like that. It's important for them to see how far they've actually come too, right? Haunted Mansion is still an absolute favorite of mine. I remember this actually blew my mind when we were in there. Like, I remember going home and telling my friends, no, you don't understand. The room stretched. It's Imagineering at its absolute finest, this ride. Man, oh man. The Country Bear Jamboree. I'm ashamed to say I've skipped this most times since then. There's so many things to do there, and you only have a limited time sometimes, and it's like, I'm very much a go kind of person. I don't want to stop for something that takes that long. That's time I could spend getting forward in the line for another ride, you know? I remember when being in there, because it's such a long show, you would fixate on certain things. I would just stare at one guy for a really long time and see all of its facial movement, everything going on, and then I would move on to something else. I don't know why I got hyper-focused during this show. I don't know why this popped into my head, but do you guys remember the Country Bears movie that came out? Christopher Walken was in it. Go check it out if you want. It's terrifying, but it's a fun kind of terrifying.
Just thinking about you. Hey, get me out here.
I don't remember who's videotaping this.
You see him coming down the hill.
Oh, there you go. So that was us doing Splash Mountain. I don't know why
I think this is him.
my mom and sister didn't do it.
Is
There we go. We can finally see something on this ride now. Pirates of the Caribbean, a low-light ride, not conducive to old-school technology. We finished off the night with a classic Magic Kingdom parade, Spectro Magic. This is Spectro Magic. Well, they look like they're from The Purge. I'm just gonna say that. God, memories. It's the funny thing about Disney, and it's the thing that makes Disney so special, is the way that these memories just, bring. This is not even a voluntary smile right now.
Oh my god. Beautiful.
It's nice too, when you're a kid, you're experiencing this in a bubble, right? But to be able to hear back, and I just heard my mom and how excited she was seeing this, and it means everything. Because it's all you do as a parent when you go on these trips, right? Is you just want it to be magical for them. And when you get a moment for it to be magical for you too, it's pretty special. What I could have done with is a lot less of the date down at the bottom though. Maybe just at the beginning of each day, just so we knew when it was going. But again, we didn't really know what we were doing. You could hear my sister. Got to shake her hand. And I'll tell you right now, I'm literally the parent who tears up when those kind of things happen. Especially with my son, because he's just pure joy. So when something that really affects him like that happens, I'm just like, okay, buddy. Oh my God, I remember this exact moment. Wait for it. Oh wait, it wasn't this one. One of them does. Oh, there we go. Wink! Again, it's been 29 and a half years. And to have little moments like that ingrained in you. The next day, we traveled to a park that has underwent a lot of changes in the last 30 years. Starting with its name, we went to MGM Studios. A lot of the classics are still there, but there's still some notable attractions missing today, and a couple of giant expansions that have yet to come to life in 1995. First up, we're taking a look at a show that I have a great connection with. Oh, what a fun way to transition into this. An interesting fact, my father was chosen to be one of the background people for this stunt show, and then I was chosen the first time I took my daughter. Little full circle stuff. Still a great show. When I was part of the press thing in May of 2022, it was really cool because we actually got to have an event down there, and I actually ate down on that surface, and they had a big show going on. It was really cool. Ah, he's made it to the idol. The great news is nothing bad's gonna happen from here. That wasn't a clean switch. Doesn't matter what he thinks. Next, we checked out a really cool area that no longer exists, but I wish we could see it again someday. Now, this is something I miss. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. This might be the most fun playground that they ever came up with.
Check it out.
Still a favorite. I know we did the ride, and I remember putting a coin or something on my lap for the drops. A great movie ride. Another classic. I mean, I love Runaway Railway and stuff like that still, though, so I'm okay with a little bit of evolution. One can't stay with the originals forever. But yeah, that's one I miss. I love the look of the parks at night. This is a terrible representation of that. The Christmas decorations were so cool.
Christmas in Florida. This is what it's all about.
Gotta love it.
It was cool, the whole backlot done up like this. It's like every house was the Griswold house, essentially. Oh, I remember they did this. So they would give you a script. You had like a teleprompter to read and you were on green screen. So you would answer. But then, of course, they gave it to my sister to read and she couldn't read fast enough to keep up with it.
No, it's not. My mother made it just for this.
This is hard to believe. It's amazing what people will do to get on the Tonight Show.
Again, this was just another band. They were playing, so we had to stop and basically capture the entire thing. They're excellent, though. They really do a good job hiring good people. The monorail. Yay. And so our trip was coming to a close. You notice there was no Epcot footage, but from the fact that we didn't see much of Epcot, I'm sure you'll understand. We also did some things outside of the park experience. I went to an Orlando Magic game, and my dad and I rode the slingshot. But if I showed you all that, the video would have to be called Just Sit There and Watch My Home Movies with Me. That was really special to go through and relive that again. Thanks so much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you did, make sure to hit the like and subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell so you know when new videos are coming out. We're going to always be revisiting all sorts of other things, but this was a really special one that I'm really glad I got to share with you guys. Some really nice moments with my family, and it's really the only video that exists of all of us together, and that's kind of sad, but you know, it is what it is. Technology was new and expensive back then. What can you say? We weren't bringing Super 8 film with us to Florida. It was awesome to see so many different attractions that don't exist anymore. And, you know, I miss a lot of those. Again, things move on and that's okay too. But yeah, it was really cool to get to see those again and just kind of, you know, jog the old memory about it. While I still got you here, why don't you check out this video here? It's from another Disney experience that I had. And until next time, my friends, have fun out there.